What's up everybody, it's Yank. I'm here with Sew Yeah Quilting. Now, over the years we have done a number of different kinds of tutorials and videos, but one that we've always lacked at is charm pack videos. So in today's video, we're gonna show you how to make the quilt behind me using 2 charm packs. Let's get started. Now guys, normally I would go ahead and jump into cutting instructions and start this video, but we're using charm packs, so it's a little different. I've got 2 charm packs here, and you can 100% use a charm pack that's a solid color for this video, so there's not really much cutting instructions. I went ahead and cut some 5-inch squares in this beautiful pink color. The total number of yardage that I needed for my solids was 1 2/3 yard, so about 1 3/4 yards of fabric, and I cut it down to a charm pack size, makes it easy for everybody here. Now it's going to go right on into sewing. Now we're going to just start right out the gate with taking one of these right sides together, and we're going to sew down both sides, okay? Different construction than what most people are used to. Now it's always the age-old question with charm packs, especially if they have pinked edges. Peaks or valleys, right? Which one is the actual 5-inch square? This manufacturer, P&B Textiles, does the peak as the 5-inch because I cut my 5-inch square, and you can see how it's landing right against my edge there. So always check, throw a ruler on it. It's the easiest way to do this. What we're going to do next is we're going to cut this directly in half both directions. I'm going to cut this direction and this direction. I have a little diagram for everyone at home, makes it easier. I'm going to cut it this direction and this direction. Now, you can mark them like I've done here, and you can mark every single one of them, make sure they're all perfect. I recommend just going for it. We know how to cut our 2.5 inch off of this, so I'm going to cut it this direction. And then I'm going to do the same thing the other direction, and if you ever, have it wiggle, just line them back up. So once I lift that up, you're going to see that I've cut that into 4s. Now the reason why I've done it this way is I'm trying to take out some of my sewing time. What I mean by that, if I open these up now, I've sewn together 8 2.5 inch squares. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to a couple of these, and we can start building out our blocks. So I went ahead and made up a couple more of these just to show you guys the examples. And now it's time to mix and match them. Obviously, when you have a ton of different colors, you want to mix and match as much as you can. And so we're going to just take one of these and one of these, and we're making a simple 4-patch. Nothing too crazy here. Right sides together. And I'm going to go ahead and make a bunch of these and a bunch of different iterations of the same thing using my prints. Over to the ironing board, and you end up with a bunch of these little 4-patches. Now I went ahead and made up a bunch of 4-patches, and guys, we're almost there. The quilt block's almost finished. And now what we're going to do is we're going to simply just take 4 that we like, and I'm just going to try to look around here, make sure I got different ones. We're going to turn it into another 4-patch. Same thing that we just did with the small block, we're going to do with the bigger block here. Right sides together, sew all the way down. Once you're at this stage, we're going to sew the top and the bottom together, and for the entirety of this project we've been using our 1/4 inch seam allowance. And guys, most projects like this is a way to test how accurate you are. When you're dealing with little tiny squares like we are, it is a good way to practice to make sure you're on point every single time. On over to ironing. And guys, just like that, your very first quilt block is done. And to make this quilt bigger and bigger and bigger, you're gonna make more of these, and then you're going to attach them row by row, which I've got an example of that. So I'm gonna attach these 2 to this one. One additional thing that I like to point out is that the orientation of the block itself. It's actually 1 turn every other block. What I mean by this is you see how this makes a straight line all the way down, and it goes off into the next block. We do not want that to happen, so all you have to do is take 1 rotation, and then that's what allows it to have these little blocks scattered throughout. It's just that simple turn. If you like the other look, go ahead and keep them all exactly the same, and it'll look beautiful as well. Now, if you zoom in on these, obviously look, this looks great, it looks beautiful, but if you super zoom right here, you can see that I am 1/16 of an inch off on my points here, which is a great project to practice on your points. As opposed to this one right here, you won't find a single one of these that is wrong. And so it's just a really good way to practice your points at the same time. Either way though, this is a fantastic quilt, fantastic block to make, and very user friendly. And guys, as always, if you've liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and most importantly, don't be afraid to share it with your friends. This is a simple block and it can get your friends into this amazing quilting industry. And down in the description below, you can find the free pattern. That way you can print it off and go at your own pace at home. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.